Thank you. As you possibly some of you have heard, the pineapple story took place in the country of New Guinea, used to be Dutch New Guinea, Irian Jaya, now part of Indonesia. Right here in these swamplands is where we had planted these pineapples. I tried to grow everything there, but nothing would grow. The ground, the sandy soil was so bad. And so I finally tried pineapples because I didn't know what else to try. God had put me there, my wife and I, among people who were just chronic thieves. They stole everything. One day, one lady stood there and she had her necklace on the bottom of her necklace hung our only can opener. And we were so glad to get that thing back. You know, we were hacking cans open with machetes and it was a mess. My wife, being a nurse, she sterilized that thing good and we got it back. One day she said to me, Otto, I can't find the diaper pins to keep the diapers on the babies and the large slide pins. And one day there stood a group of women and on their ears hung our diaper pins. And we were so glad to get them back because, you know, what else do you do? The other day I heard of a rock group here in America which used safety pins on their ears. So I guess we're catching up with the jungle people here in America. And I suppose in music, some other areas we're already ahead of them, if that's possible. But you know, they stole everything. And God sent me among those people, probably the greatest thieves on earth, to teach me the lesson that he wanted me to get, the lesson of Luke 14:33, where it says, whosoever he be of you that forsakes not all that he has, he cannot be my disciple. Now, I'm Dutch by birth. I was born in Holland, and us Dutch people hang on awfully tight to things we have. That's the way, it isn't my fault, really. My father was that way. I got it from him. And then I found out that he got it from my grandfather, so it really isn't his fault neither. But, you know, they call us stingy. You know, the word in their culture here was long-nosed, the word for stingy. The long-nosed white man, they called me. And the stingy missionary. And I was fighting for all that I had. I mean, I was taught to, you know, to fight back. I fought for everything. Like they stole my shirt. One guy, he's trying to sell me a fish. He had my shirt on. You'd think the guy would wear it somewhere else. I said, you know, nobody else is wearing any shirts around there. And I said, hey, man, give me your shirt back first, and then I'll trade with you. They took everything. One time, one guy came staggering, and he couldn't see straight. And then I realized that he's got my wife's subscription sunglasses on. She hadn't missed him yet. Oh, it was crazy. He's staggering in like this. He doesn't know how to walk. He has no clothing, just glasses. And he's staggering in, and I took them off his nose. I said, now you'll be able to walk home. And, you know, they took everything. I'd go to the village with my box. I had a cardboard box. And when I went to visit them to learn language and so on, and I just gathered up the stuff I found in their homes, you know, got it all back. They called me the missionary with the box. I didn't like that, but I'd fill the whole thing up. I found stuff I hadn't missed yet. They'd say, one day I sat looking at this flashlight and I saw, that's just like the one I got. Amazing that these people would have one like that. Then I went home and found that they'd just gotten it the day before. They were chronic thieves. They'd get my wife's attention at the front door and knock, and then they'd clean off the wash line at the back. There was no way, there were so many of them, just the two of us. And we were fussing with them, and they said, Tuan, you're always angry. I said, hey, I was never angry until I met you people. This is true. Anger had never really been my problem. I'd had other problems, but anger was never my problem until I met them. I said to them, hey, I could be a real good missionary if it wasn't for you people, you know. Well, I heard a pastor say that here at home too. So you must, you know, I could be a good pastor if it wasn't for my people. A teenager told me once I could pass my grades if it wasn't for my teacher. And then I suppose the man that said I could be a good husband if it wasn't for my wife. So you have natives around you too. So really, I think you'll be able to understand my story. But they stole all my pineapples and I didn't know what to do. I closed the clinic. I said, no more clinic. They said, you're going to eat all the pills yourself? I said, no. I said, but if you're going to have to make a choice. You either get pineapples or you get pills. If you keep stealing them, you won't get pills. Make a choice. And they kept right on stealing. They were chronic. They couldn't stop stealing. And so I closed the clinic, and they all went off to their, well, no, they sat on my front porch with their headaches, you know, rubbing their toe and give me some pills. And I said, hey, don't sit here hurting. Go sit on your own front porch, hurt there. That's where you eat the pineapples. That's where your head is going to hurt. And they weren't happy with me, but by the weekend they let their babies die. Can you believe it? Blamed us, that stingy white man, the long-nosed white man, won't give us any medicine. And this grieved our hearts, of course, and we quick opened the clinic again and thought, well, let's forget about the pineapples. Let them have it. I have the pineapples. We'll live, you know, and save their lives. And so we endeavored to do this. And 2 or 3 weeks went by, and it was time to weed the garden again. They said, Tuan, your garden needs weed. Let me weed it all, you know. And I said, hey, if you're going to eat all the pineapples, weed it yourself. You know. But finally, I paid them to weed it, and I thought I'd try something else. I'd grown these things. They took 3 years before they ever produced fruit. And now they'd been producing fruit for a couple of months, and they stole them all, and I was angry. And, you know, I didn't even know what it tasted like. And I wondered what they taste like. People say, why didn't you beat them to them? And, well, they ate them while they were still green. They ate everything green. They never even knew bananas turned yellow. They ate everything green. They were in a society of chronic thieves. You couldn't survive there unless you knew how to steal. The women would come to our house and would train their children how to steal, always using my pineapple garden as training grounds. They'd say, now check the windows, now get mommy that big one, and so on and all that. And those women. I told them, I said, you know, quit training. They'd beat the kids if they got caught. No wonder they grow up the way they do. And so we opened a clinic again, and I thought, I've got to think of something else. I've got to get some of these pineapples, and we can't have these people walk all over us. And so I closed the trade store. I thought they can do without the salt and the fish hooks and stuff like that. Matches. They'd never had matches till we got there. And I closed the store. I told them a week ahead, and they kept stealing, so I closed it all. Now they reacted. They were angry at me. They said, that stingy white man, if he doesn't share, no advantage living near him. And so they moved out. They moved to their favorite hunting grounds further towards the ocean this way. And we were left there with a grand vacation. Can you imagine how neat that was? They look in every window every moment of the day. Oh, friends, it gets to you after a while. There's no way we go on a picnic, they follow us. You know, they watch us eat. They tell us when we've eaten enough. And then they want the rest. You can't get it. We could only get out of there and go visit our children that were in school up here on the coast. We'd get out maybe 2, 3 times a year. But the rest of the time we were locked in. They were watching everything we did. Now they'd gone to the jungle. Oh, was that neat. I got all my letters written. I got all my reports in. Everybody thought I was a good missionary now. No people. And I have nothing more to do. And a plane comes, and we're dragging the rice sacks to the house, and he says, where's your coolies? I said, they've gone to the jungle. And he says, I hope they come back. Well, I was still enjoying the vacation after 3 weeks. But 3 more weeks, oh, the boredom, the monotony in a jungle. Can you imagine sitting on a jungle island with nothing to do? No radio, no TV, no books to read, nothing. Just eating pineapples. But, oh, that was good. But you get tired of them, you know. And I'm getting convicted, you know. It's only the home churches supporting me knew all I was doing here was eating pineapples. I could do this back in the States, and my conscience bothers me because they send out the monthly checks to our support and so on. Finally, the plane came back again. Well, the grass was too tall, and you should have seen the lines he left in the grass as he landed on that grass airstrip. I knew I was in for it. I was in trouble. He got out of his plane, just shook his head. He says, Koning, you know better than this. He says, get your people to cut this. He says, where's your people anyway? He should have remembered. I told him before. And I said, they've gone to the jungle. He says, well, send somebody to call them back. Well, my wife wouldn't go. Hey, you can't blame her, folks. Those spiders and those snakes in those jungles and those mud trails with slippery logs and leeches and what have you. She didn't know where they were anyway. He says, hey, I can't come back till you get that grass cut. I'll call you. We had a two-way radio with contact with the MAF base a little north of us and with our mission headquarters. And hey, he says, I can't come back. I'll call you ahead of time. How would you like to be a missionary back there in the jungle and the pilot that comes your way isn't going to come back? And you say, oh God, I need my natives. I need my people. I need a messenger. And one guy came, stood there smiling, and I said, hey, get that smile off your face. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a job. You call all the people and I'll pay you good. And he smiled again and went off, and I said, thank you, Lord, you gave me a messenger. And we waited it out in 3-4 more days. There they were, and they yelling at me. I said, Tuan, we're here, Tuan, we're here. Well, hey, they didn't have to tell me. We could smell them. You know, they never bathe. Can you imagine it? Never bathe. They can never sneak up on you. And I thought they'll probably steal my pineapples again. They did. And now I tasted them, and now it's even worse. That's when you complain, when you've had it good, and now you have to cut back. And I was fussing, and they said, Tuan, you're always angry. You're an angry white man. And that bothered me. You're stingy. And I said, no, I'm not. Leave him alone, I'll show you I'm all right. But I tried everything. Finally, I got this German Shepherd dog. He was a big, full-grown male shepherd. I got him up here in the mountains of New Guinea. A missionary raised him. And oh, the day when that dog was on the plane, they could only see the pilot as he landed. He was in the tail end. All the people, like usual, crowded around that airplane to see what was in there, to see what they would steal next. And the pilot would, he couldn't get a door open, you know. He said, can't you control your people? Get them to stand back there. And I'd have a stick, you know, and tap them on the shoulder. Hey, get back. But, you know, you don't hit them too hard. They've got 9-foot spears, right? And they're headhunters and cannibals, so you go easy. You know, I'd back this side off, and they'd be and all those flies would get inside his cockpit, and he'd be fighting flies all the way home. And he says, get your people away. Oh, there's another reason he would polish up that plane. Our people never use a handkerchief and get their noses against this glass. And he says, look at the mess they're making. Can't you? Oh, he was fussing at me. And I'd be fussing at the people, so we're both fussing at him. But this morning when that shepherd dog was in there, I almost encouraged him to get closer. I thought you should have been there. You should have been there. When he opened that tail door of the plane, that full-grown shepherd jumped out, let out one bark. You should have seen him run. That was my best day of my missionary career. They ran, and the dog, you know, they were up on my roof, up in the coconut trees. They were everywhere, and it was unreal. And the dog did his job. No more pineapples were stolen. I thought, I've got it. You know, I've beat him finally. But alas, I didn't. It got worse. You see, the dog ruined our ministry. Nobody came loitering around our mission station anymore. My wife had a clinic 200 feet away. And she says, Otto, get rid of the dog. I said, why? She says, come over to the clinic. Well, it was true. All those 100 people, an average of 100 people, would crowd in on her. Nobody wanted to be on the outside when the dog got loose. See? They'd yell, and I'd tie up my dog with this vine, but he could chew himself free in 20, 30 minutes. And one day, you know, they would yell at my wife, quick, Nyonya, me first, quick, look, he's chewing the vine, he's going to come. And she says, they're all pressing up on me. I haven't got elbow room. I can't work with them. She says, they're driving me up the wall. I'm going to be a nervous breakdown. She says, I can't carry on like this. Well, she says, I'm bending all the needles on them. They're so tense by the time they get. And so she was right. One day,